dads, you have this opportunity to play such an important role in your child's life. And I guess that quote from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So don't take it lightly, right?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Off the Mat. My name is Josh Dumlin, and this is
Nicole Stratichuk.
And first off, I just want to thank all of you guys for listening or watching to our whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on any one of the podcast platforms. I just want to say thank you guys so much for your views and your listens. We greatly appreciate it. We've gotten lots of feedback from lots of people about which episodes were their favorite and what topics they would like us to dive into. So we just really appreciate all of the support you guys are giving us. And we just thank you guys so much because that's what keeps us going and keeps us wanting to do it. So did I ever tell you about the first time I went bungee jumping?
I don't think so.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I ever told you about this time.
I've heard about your skydiving, and I probably reacted with like very frightened emotions. So maybe that's why you've never told me about your bungee jumping.
But the first time I went bungee jumping was with my dad. Mm-hmm. And that was when I was about 16. I think I was 16 years old. My dad, for my 16th, I want to say it was for my 16th birthday, took me bungee jumping. And so we were at a tournament. We went bungee jumping in Edmonton. And if you've ever been to West Edmonton Mall, they used to, I don't know if they even still have the bungee jumping anymore.
They have a zip line.
They have the zip line. Yeah. And so that year that I went, they had 4 different things. They had the bungee jumping, of course. They had a swing. So it's you swung across the whole pool, like a big giant playground swing. You were strapped up into it. They had a rappel where you rappelled down the wall, and then the last one was a zip line. So all 4 of those things. And when I went to do the swing part, what happens is there was a whole line of us, and we're all on the platform at the very, very top. So myself, my dad, and a couple other people were all there, and there at the top, I'm about to go, and I'm hooked up to a chest harness. Mm-hmm. And so what they do is they get you all hooked up, they start buckling you in, and little did I know that my dad had actually gone and talked to they're not instructors, but the people who were running and dropping us down and bungee jumping us and everything, the employees there, the workers there. Yeah. They were there. He went and talked to them beforehand. And he goes, "Hey, just so you know, that's my son up there. Can you guys mess with him a little bit and pretend that his harness is broken or something like that?" And they were like, "Yeah, we can definitely do that." And so without even thinking about it, they were like, "Yeah, we'll do that. Definitely." So I get up there. It's my turn to go. I think I had watched one other person already do it. And like I said, I was on to the swing part. So if you can imagine, you're on the platform on one end. The swing is anchored up to the middle of the pool. And again, this is West Edmonton Mall, really large, super high ceilings. I don't know how high, but you get up there and you're supposed to just drop down and you swing across, and you kind of keep doing it back and forth until you stop. They lower you down, and then you go back up to the top to finish the rest of the things, the bungee jumping, the zip line, and everything else. So as I'm there, I'm all hooked up. They got the chest harness on me, and they're hooking up the swing part to the chest harness. What they do is they walk you over, they lift up the platform, and they let you hang there. They do their final checks, and they go in there, and they're, chest harness 1, chest harness 2, hip check, and they're going through, and one guy does a check, and then the other guy double checks. And so if they say, shoulder check 1, the guy repeats shoulder check 1, and then shoulder check 2, shoulder check 2. So as they're doing it, they're going along, they're doing all of their checks, and they get to one part, and the guy says, "Oh, shit." And I go, "What?" And I'm like 15 or 16 at this time. And I go, What is going on? What is happening?" And he goes, "Hey, kid, listen, man, I don't want you to panic, but we got to get you up here as soon as," and I hear this snap, and I fall. And I'm falling because what happens is you fall for a little bit, and then as the rope tightens up, you start swinging. So I'm falling, trying to grab onto the harness, and I'm hanging onto it for dear life. Little do I know that I am completely safe. I am anchored up. I am strapped in, but I am hanging onto this thing as if, you know, my literal life depends on it. So I'm falling through, and I'm going back and forth, and then as I finally kind of relax a little bit, I could start to hear these faint laughter from above where the platform was, where the workers and my dad was. And they're all laughing at me as I'm hanging on to this thing. And I thought, like, you assholes, I'm hanging on to this thing. Why are you laughing? And then they start laughing and they say, let go. It's only a joke. And I was like, what? And so I could start to actually feel like, yeah, like I'm not actually hanging on to this thing. And I let go as I'm swinging, and I was like, fuck. And I just remember finally getting up to the top, and my dad is he's killing himself laughing. And so it reminds me of the bond and you know, that I had with my dad. We used to bust each other's balls all the time, like that all the time. And we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of cool stuff together. And that was one of the craziest things we probably got to do together. And of course, he, you know, didn't leave it to anything other than just, you know, a chance to have some major prank on me that I actually thought I was going to die.
I have heard that story before.
You've heard that one?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So, and it reminds me of the fun that Ryder and I have as well. Like, we're always, you know, whether he's trying to hide and scare us, or, you know, we're playing some kind of joke on him, or he's playing some kind of joke on us, there's this relationship, and
That's a pretty big joke, though. Would you do that to Ryder?
Yeah, I would do that.
Oh my gosh, that's mean.
Of course I would do that. I would absolutely do that. I would definitely do something along those lines. But it just reminds me of, like I said, the bond that we had, and a lot of the stuff that we got to do, and the laughter afterwards. I mean, it's funny. Like, immediately afterwards, as soon as I was like realized what was going on, I had a good laugh, and we had a great time about it. And
it's too bad that's not on video, right? Because now we see all these videos of people going on roller coasters and like those slingshot rides, and you can see them kind of like freaking out or passing out or something. Would have been awesome to see your face.
I can only imagine the look of me trying to scramble as I'm falling and grab onto it and hang on for dear life, knowing that, let's just say I wasn't hooked up. There's no way physically I would be able to actually hang. You would just get launched right out.
And wouldn't you just like jump into the water anyway?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how it was set up.
You fall into the water, but I don't. You're falling from 100 and I think it's 110 or 120 feet. So, when I think of those times and the cool shit that we got to do together, and the cool shit that I get to do with Ryder, everything from last year when every year we do our dudes weekend, right? Where it's just him and I, and eventually Rocky is going to be able to come on these trips as well. And last year we went whitewater rafting. Yeah. And this wasn't a joke. I didn't try to plan this. This wasn't me like planning, but he got bucked out of the raft into the water and got sucked underneath the raft during some of the crazy parts, and I had to dive over to catch him and yank him out. And yeah, like we have those fun times, those fun experiences where we're doing something challenging together, where we're testing ourselves a little bit. And you know, this year we're planning on doing some sort of like a camping trip where we get to go hiking and, you know, go walking.
I like that idea better than the whitewater rafting idea.
Well, it's already done. We already did it.
I know, but that was scary for me last year. I know the moms can relate with me. Some moms anyway. I don't know. Whitewater rafting is not my thing. It scares me a little bit. So it did scare me last year when you guys went.
But it was so much fun. And that bond afterwards, there's a picture. My phone ended up getting damaged during that trip, and we took one last picture because my phone was working when we finished the trip. We parked the boat, we got off onto land, and we were able to take one picture. And shortly after that, my phone died. It just quit. But luckily enough, that last photo got uploaded to my iCloud. So we have that one last picture of him and I on the beach together after the whole day is done, and we're just smiling. And it was just super special, because I was really sad I was going to lose that picture, because it was just a wrap up of everything, and just the genuine feeling and love and everything that we have for each other, but also the fact that we did this difficult thing all day, because it was all day. It was right from we left here all the way to Fernie, did this thing. We didn't get back till late at night, kind of thing, and it was just such an awesome time. So I think of that and the bond we get to have on the floor, because of course, Ryder being in Taekwondo and training, we get to spend that quality time pushing, him and other students and other people here, and he gets to share that with us. And I also got to share that a little bit with my dad as well, as he was an instructor and had a school.
Yeah, and me too. I got to train with my dad as a kid in Taekwondo as well. So
that's right.
I feel like that's why we came up with these events that we wanted to talk about, was Moms on the Mat and Dads in the Dojang, is we both had that experience of being able to train with our dad. Your mom never did Taekwondo.
Did for a little bit.
Oh, she did.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
And my mom didn't
green
do
belt,
Taekwondo.
Green or blue stripe or something like that. She got
okay, so you had experience with your mom too. I never had experience with my mom training. Actually, last year's Mom on the Mat was the first time I had my mom on the mat. So that was cool. But yeah, there is this like special... It's cool that we got to train with our dads on the mat and in martial arts. And so that's why we...
Well, and that's just it. So we had just done that, right? We had just done one of the events on the weekend here called Dads in the Dojang, and then we had done Moms on the Mat back in May, of course, for Mother's Day. And so we do these ones so that way you as a parent and the child can come in and share the morning with each other, doing something challenging, something a little bit out of your comfort zone.
And not the normal thing, right?
Not the normal thing, that's right, because if you are a mom and daughter or son that trains, or a dad and son or daughter that trains, you might not always get to do the class together at the same time, where you see your little boy or little girl off to the side and they're sweating and you're sweating too, and you get to share that regularly. So typically they would be doing their maybe kids class and you're in your adult class. So we have these events, the Dads in the Dojang and the Moms on the Mat, so that way parents can come in. But even more so, we do it for the parents who do not train as an opportunity to come onto the floor. And I approach it with some ways, and you approach it with some different ways, and it's unique how both of us sort of run it, even though it's the same premise. The idea of it is the same. Our goal is the same, that you come in, but we do it in such a fun way that when you leave, there is this hour. I think mine was about I don't know how long exactly it was, but it was about an hour and a half long. We did the class for, and we were able to, like I said, in that hour and a half, build a bond with their child that maybe not necessarily wasn't there, of course, but you definitely get to grow a little tighter. You get to have that extra. And I think
it's just a special opportunity because parents, we get it. We're busy parents as well, and it is hard sometimes for us to have evening activities when we have to have our kids to all different activities. So I know that a lot of our parents here at the Dojang, they probably want to do Taekwondo and they would like to do it, but it's just the season of their life. It doesn't work right now with having a lot of those kids. So here's an opportunity. It's not the normal day. It's not the normal time. It's a special event. So this is their opportunity to come try martial arts and see what their kids are doing. And yeah, so it's really cool that we put this opportunity together for parents.
And we sometimes hear it from people, I don't know so much about anybody here, but I've actually gotten, I don't want to say it's criticism, but why do you do it right on Mother's Day? Why don't you do it the Saturday of? Because it is on Mother's Day. Yeah. It is called Moms on the Mat. Why don't you do the Dads in the Dojang the night before? That way I don't have to wake. No, get your ass in, come in. Or like I said, maybe some of like, instructor friends who are like, well,
I don't want to spend my Mother's Day doing that.
I don't want to do it that day. Or I don't think people will come on fall. Do it. The ones that want to go and want to build that will come. Regardless of the fact that it's Father's Day or Mother's Day, they'll come in and do it. And don't get me wrong, if you didn't make it for a reason because there was already plans, I'm just saying, if you want to do it anyway, that's what you'll set the time up for, and you'll come in and do it.
Maybe you feel the same way, but I never felt like doing Moms on the Mat on Mother's Day was taking away from my own Mother's Day. Just because I got to do something that I'm passionate about. I got to do something about filling other moms' cups up. And so that was really awesome for me to have on Mother's Day. Like, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I like spending my Mother's Day that way, right? So yeah, just being around other moms and watching other moms be awesome moms, and yeah, it's great.
Well, and the same thing here, Ryder was there. This year was a little different because Ryder had a game that he had to do, so he came later, right? For Moms on the Mat.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, he came a little bit later. We had to come in, so Ryder and I raced in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And for me, Ryder and I get to do
it. Yeah, you had Rocky too.
That's right.
Rocky is he's only 4, so Moms on the Mat, he wasn't quite ready to do that yet. But Dad's in the Dojang, he was right into it. So what an awesome experience.
And we taught it together. Like, I bring him in and I'm like, hey, Ryder, we're going to demonstrate this. I give him little jobs throughout that he gets to do. And it is that bonding experience too. Because I'm like, dude, you're going to set up. We do this obstacle course, and it's a very small obstacle course. We can touch on it later, but it's where everybody's actually blindfolded doing it. But I designed the first course, and then it's up to him now to go and memorize, and then it's up to him when the time is right and the time is ready to set up all 4 obstacle courses, because we had four courses set up so we could get through more people. And it was up to him to then take the 2 black belts that we had there and give them the marching orders of how they have to set things up. So in that time, I'm getting to spend the time with him, practicing with him, training with him, teaching with him, but also now saying, you get to be the leader at this part here. I'm going to take the dads aside. I'm going to talk about fatherhood and what it means to be a father, and my take on the importance and values of setting a good example for our kids. All the while, my son is off on the other side telling the black belts that are there, I need you to set this cone up here and that cone up over there, and I need you to put this over here. And so he's getting some leadership skills in that time. And so when we left that morning, or noon or whatever it was, there was just this extra,
sense of pride from him.
Like, oh, well, would you have really wanted to do that, spend your Father's Day teaching? It would be way fucking better than going to like breakfast somewhere and just sitting there and, we all got to spend that time together. Yeah. And it was great. Like, it was the best time. Yeah. It was the best time. And Ryder had a blast. Yeah. He told me afterwards, he goes, that was so much fun. That was a good time. I loved it.
So even for us as the instructors, it's a unique experience. Like, you and Ryder had a unique experience. Not everyone gets that. Like, the dads that come, they're not totally in that experience, but they have their awesome experience.
Absolutely.
Like, Dads in the Dojang was amazing. I just from my perspective, I mean, I was there just, to help with our kids, obviously, because Rocky's a little bit younger. And then just to help out with the class itself, just in case you guys needed anything. But what I got to see was like some of these kids, especially when they're going through the obstacle course. I mean, all the Taekwondo pieces of it, like the push-ups and the workout part and the kicks and the punches, like, it was all smiles from those kids. So like, they just had a blast with their parents, like with their dad. So, and same thing for moms on the mat. Like it was just super fun. Like they're having this fun connection with each other. They're doing something physical, which is awesome. Anyway, what I wanted to get to was the obstacle course. What I saw from my side was these kids, some of them were scared. So if we talk about the obstacle course specifically, we had mouse traps.
Yeah, so that's just it. So we added another layer of fear to it this year.
Yes.
And by obstacle course, it was 5 stations. It wasn't a heavy, zigzaggy maze or anything. It was 5 obstacles. Something to step over, something to go under, something to balance on, something to avoid, and then mouse traps at the end that you had to ultimately navigate. Yeah. All the while, your child is blindfolded. Yes. So
some of those kids were scared. They were scared of the mouse traps, and they appeared to be set. They weren't actually set because we didn't want any accidents to happen, but we played it as like, because when I even set them out, I was like setting them out really gently so that they, it just looked and appeared that these mouse traps were actually set and could actually go off and snap your toe if you stepped the wrong way, right?
What do we do? We had some kids crying.
Yeah. Some of the kids were like very scared to do it and didn't want to do it. Like a couple kids, they didn't want to do it at all. And kudos to those dads, because those dads talked to their kids and said, hey, no, this is going to be something challenging and we're going to learn a lot about each other by doing this. I'm not sure exactly the words that they said to their kids, but they had that talk and said, no, we're going to do this. We're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to figure this out, and I'm going to keep you safe.
Yep.
Right? So then they would get through the thing, the kids almost in tears. And then at the end, oh my gosh, it was just like these big hugs at the end and like just pure love. You could like feel it between them, between the kid and the dad, just love. And, that dad got to be the father, got to be the protector, got to be the leader. Like it was just such a cool thing to witness and just really feel the love in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just it. So the whole purpose of that exercise is I at that point there, I separate the kids and the dads, and I take the dads off to one side, and every year, what I talk about changes a little bit. And this year, it was really heavy on an example that we set. Like, what example are we setting as fathers to actually give our kids a reason to listen to us? And this is not a ridicule thing, but we had a lot of dads that showed up, and 30 minutes of working out fucking killed them. Like, and I was very like, guys, we have to set a better example. Like, this shouldn't have been a killer workout, because it really wasn't. It was 30 minutes of kind of
some push-ups,
and
some kicks.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
nothing too intense.
Exactly. And really what I want, as I have grown, because I can easily say that the 1.0 version of me would have been just like that. I wouldn't have been able to set a better example because of choices I make, stupid things I'm doing. So do as I say, not as I do. What is that? Monkey, whatever.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Right, exactly. That's just it. That's one. I think that's what I said. Maybe that's what I said. But the whole point was to make everybody realize. And again, your conversations with the moms are probably very, very different. But mine was very, we got to step up, dads. We have to all step up.
Dads.
All of us. All of us have to step up, because we need to be the leaders. We need to be the protectors. And we're going to go do a exercise together where your kids are going to be blindfolded, and everybody in the room is going to be shouting, yelling, screaming at them to distract them, because there is a lot of noise in this world. And are they going to be able to hear your voice, so that way you are that guiding light for them, that they're going to be able to follow and actually feel, safe following? But if we're not going to set the example for them, is our voice going to be able to cut through the noise, the bad influences, the social media, the influences at school, outside of school, all of the negativity that we want to try to, teach our kids how to, rise above, if we're not setting the example for them, are they actually going to trust us to actually lead them through that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did have, several dads came up to me and they were, thankful that we did it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell, like,
I need to man up.
I need to
step
up.
Yeah.
Like, I got to start doing more. And that there's nothing wrong with realizing that. I did it too. Like, I even though I would be an active, training, I wouldn't have set an example that I do now, or at least try to. Now, in no way am I saying I have not room to grow. And that's what I continue to do every day, is try to level up and step up in better ways, so that way when I do give an example or a lesson to Ryder, he has a reason to listen to it.
And I like that you have that conversation with the dads and really drilling into them that you have such a big responsibility as a father, and we do as mothers. I'm not taking that away, but fathers, you have such a big responsibility in your son or daughter's life, and don't take that for granted. Like, live to the example that you want to set for your kids, because they're learning from you, right? And as in the Dojang here, we are teaching them, the best that we can, all these character traits and things like that. But they spend way more time with you, Dad. And so it's so important that you take that responsibility very carefully, or what, I can't think of the word, but just very serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a very serious responsibility when it comes to being the father of your kids. And meanwhile, while you guys are having that conversation, I sit with the kids so that you can have that conversation without the kids' ears listening. And
because I get pretty...
yeah. And I talk to the kids about how amazing their dads are, and about how they need to trust their dads, right? So I'm sitting there telling them to trust in you, dads. Don't let them down.
That's right.
Because we're talking you up. I'm talking you up to these kids, right? Like, Dad's amazing, and look at all the things that he can do, and all of this stuff. And he's going to be your guiding light, and he's going to, like, help you through challenges that are going to come up in your life. So don't let them down, dads, because I just talked you up.
That's right. Yeah. And that was the whole thing. So that's why we separate them, is so that way I can kind of pour into the dads a little bit, share, my feelings of, coming at it as, a martial arts instructor, as a coach, as a mentor, a leader, as a father, and, making them, or, and some get it, but, like, really making you realize, like, you are a leader here as well. You are leading your family through challenging times. You are leading your family through difficult situations, overcoming adversity, and the first chance of hard work, where you're really having to physically test yourself, and you're powering out. So that's just it. We've got to make sure that we are physically capable.
Right. And dads, you have this opportunity to play such an important role in your child's life. And I guess that quote from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So don't take it lightly, right?
That's right.
Don't disappoint them.
Yeah. And so then we do the obstacle course, and yeah, exactly. It's this opportunity now for them to have, had the class together, where I get to teach with my son, and then I get to pour into the dads a little bit. The kids are separated. Then we join them all back together, and we do this course. And so now I give the opportunity now for the dads to sort of take the reins, take the leadership role back again, and lead and guide their kids through this. Again, it's not a very difficult obstacle course. It would take you 5.2 seconds to do if you were unblindfolded. Yeah. It takes about 45 I don't know, maybe it takes a couple minutes.
Yeah, maybe
right?
2 minutes to get through it blindfolded.
And again, it's not that the course is challenging. It's you are blindfolded, you have no vision. And so it's also another example of how we as dads, how do we communicate? How do we bring our message to our kids? When they make a mistake, Are we getting frustrated? Are we getting angry? Are we getting upset? Are we able to maintain our cool so that way when we need to again have them trust us, they're going to want to listen. But they're blindfolded. One of their senses is taken away. Mm-hmm. You don't think that they can still feel your presence. They can feel the frustration, the love, the care, whatever it is that you're giving off, the energy.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool drill that we get to do with them. And like I said, it's a communication, and we do have some, you can tell that, they're frustrated. I want you to lift your right leg. They lift their left leg. Okay, well, guide them through it. Got to remain calm. Tell them what to do. Have them listen. Snap your fingers. Do whatever you need to do to get them to sort of go where you need them to go, right? And mold them in through and guide them through that challenging time. All the while, like I said, kids and the adults and the dads in the room are all yelling, screaming, cheering, and really distracting the kids. Because again, that's really, when it comes to raising the kids, like I said, there's a lot of noise out there, and it's up to us, but not just as dads, as parents as well, to cut through that noise, so that way when they're getting that outside influence, that negative influence, bad ideas, hopefully, that's our job, is that we can guide them away from those things and protect them and lead them. So it's a lot of fun. It was, anyway, that class there is one of my favorite to do, and we always have a really good time with it.
Moms on the Mat is a little bit different. Just the dynamic is different. We're moms. We're not dads. And I think those are two very important roles, but different. Absolutely. So in our kid's life, right, you're the dad, I'm the mom, and we have very important roles, but they're different. So when we have moms that come to Moms on the Mat, I feel like that space is truly just about connection with your kids and just having the kids have that opportunity to show mom like what they do on the mat, right? Because usually mom's sitting off to the side, and yeah, it's more about fun and connection than anything else. I also feel like for the moms, it's a way less intimidating class for them to come and actually try martial arts. So I feel like that's part of the element of Moms on the Mat, is it's not the adult class where men are there, right? And as a woman, I can understand that it could be intimidating that way. So I feel like this is such a cool opportunity, and a safer maybe way that women can come try the martial arts. So yeah, the Moms on the Mat, I feel, is like a way different dynamic, and it's all about love and connection and just trying something with your kids and having the kids get to kind of show off to mom a little bit. So it was so much fun. Same thing, like we do the kicks and the punches and the workout and stuff, and trying to instill those habits of like healthy habits of working out with your kids, right? Being active together, doing something challenging together. Those were all important elements of Moms on the Mat. It's just, like I said, it's a little bit different energy from dads in the Dojang, both really important. But I think, mothers are different than fathers, and yeah, both are important, and just the dynamic is so different in those two classes, and I love it.
Absolutely.
I love both of them so much.
And that's just it. Like I like the approach that, both take. At the end you give the mom's flowers.
Yes, yeah.
I yell. like
and I think, like with mothers, they take it is, I don't know, it's very different, right? And
of course,
and not that everybody, the roles and all of that are different in every family, but the mothers, they actually carry that baby. They actually like do a lot of the nurturing, and that might be different in your family, but that's generally what I've experienced. A lot of the moms that I work with, that's what they've experienced. Like they are the nurturing one in that parenthood, right? And so when it comes to Moms on the Mat, it's all about celebrating them and just celebrating, how awesome they are, because motherhood, just like fatherhood, is not easy. just that at the age of lots of those kids, those mothers have spent a good chunk of their life and their time as nurturing mothers. And so at Moms Moms on the Mat is all about celebrating them.
Mm-hmm.
And Dads in the Dojang a little bit different. We're celebrating those dads, yet we're pushing those dads to be better, stronger.
Instilling the protector, role, right? And just making sure, because we all say, as dads anyway, and I'm sure moms say this too, but I'm sure parents say this all the time, but especially dads, I would kill for my kids. Mm-hmm. I would do anything. Absolutely. Okay, so what are we going to do about our health and fitness? Well, a little busy for that.
That's right.
Oh, anybody messes with my kids, I'd kill for them. Well, mm-hmm. running down the Dojang floor damn near killed you.
Yeah.
So we approach it very different, but it, like I said, both have this impact that are, positive and.
Yeah, and hopefully, again, is another reminder of how important it is as parents that we need to be fit and healthy and instilling healthy habits. And so Moms in the Dojang, Dads in the Dojang, Moms on the Mat is just another way that we can experience that together, right? We want our kids to be healthy and successful mm-hmm. and all of those things. So, these classes that we do is just a way that, we can show you how fun it can be to do these healthy habits together.
That's right.
Right. So I love that. And then, of course, like setting the example, right? So mom can have the courage to come onto the mat. So can you, right?
Yep.
I just love the whole premise of both classes. They're so awesome.
That's right. And so that's really what we want everybody to take away. And I finished off with the dads there saying, I don't care if you do martial arts, with me or anybody else, like, it doesn't matter to me, but get involved in a martial art. Like, mm-hmm. be a protector. Like, learn how to know what you're capable of, right? So that way you can protect, get fit, be active. And so by doing it together, I really want people to make sure that, like, do something with your kids together. Mm-hmm. Find a challenging thing to do, every 3-4 months. Go and do something challenging together. Go and do a hike together. Mm-hmm. Go and do, go do whitewater rafting. Take your kid bungee jumping. Like, go do something together that's challenging, that pushes you both maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone. I've never been camping before, and we're going to go camping this summer because, we've never done it.
This summer.
We're going to go and do that because mm-hmm. we've never done it before. It's going to be challenging because we're going to forget something because we don't know what exactly to pack. And it's up to me to, also, have I done, enough research? Like, have I looked into enough things? Have I remembered to bring stuff so that way Ryder also has that trust? Dad brought enough, Dad messes up. I want to make sure that I set the example of, here's what we do, son. We're going to go and challenge ourselves. And we also have a friend of ours who's at the MDK project right now, actually. He asked me if we wanted to plan a father-son weekend with a whole group of us. And so that would just be dads and sons, because it just kind of worked out that our circle of friends all have boys. Mm-hmm. Like, it just kind of worked out that way. But
that's awesome.
So we're planning something like that as well. So Ryder and I, and maybe Rocky, we'll see how that goes. And then the rest of us will also go do one. But do something challenging with your kids. Go work out with them. Like, get a gym membership together. Buy some weights for at home. We can all use the excuse of, like, well, I don't know what to work out. I mean, geez, the internet, like what you're listening to us on, the number of exercises you can get just to, get yourself fit and active, but with your kids. Because that's always the biggest thing we find. And we've done an episode of this on, setting an example. Well, I want my kids to practice at home. I want them to work out at home, but work out with them. Mm-hmm. Like, lift the weights with them, get a pair of, focus pads and practice with them. Not just go practice your patterns or go kick in the air. Like, get the paddle in there, get the mitts in there. Practice with them. Learn how to hold for them. make it something that is a bonding experience for the 2, 3, 4, however many kids you got, but for the family. So you are all involved in it.
Yeah. And I have to shout out to my mom's club because, Moms in the Dojang, Moms on the Mat was really awesome. I had some of my mom club members there for that. But my mom's club, they show up twice a week to work on themselves and to set the example for their kids. And so, just super shout out to them. They have experienced some challenging things within Mom's Club, certainly out of Mom's Club as well, but they are just always working on themselves and always working to set the example. And it's cool that they're in Taekwondo so them and their kids can, practice together. Like they take what you're saying, like learn how to hold. They have taken that to the next level and they are learning Taekwondo with their kids. So shout out Mom's Club. You're awesome.
Awesome, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode here. And if you were at Dads in the Dojang or Moms on the Mat, we really hope that you enjoyed yourself. And I just want to thank you for coming and spending that time. And if you didn't make it out this year, we really hope that next year you'll be able to join one of us for either the Moms on the Mat or the Dads in the Dojang and be able to experience that time with your child. And I feel like every year we add something a little bit more to it. So we always make it a little bit unique from year to year. So that way, every time you come in, we've had dads who have come in every year for the last however many years to do this. And, we modified a bit. So that way it's always a unique experience every time you come in. So we thank you all so much for listening here. If you guys don't mind liking, subscribing, leaving us a comment, leaving us a 5-star review, we would love that feedback. If you would like to hear us go through anything else at all, we would love to hear, what it is maybe you'd like to have us talk about. Maybe, things that we go through on the floor, you'd like to know a little bit more so that way you can help your kids out more at home or help yourself if you're training. But we thank you all so much to listening to Off the Mat. My name is Josh Dumoulin and this is
Nicole Stratichuk.
And we will see you all or talk to you all next time.